Not a lot. Just go over there.
Okay, we're here at the GPAA show in Fresno, California, and we're talking with Walt of the Public Lands for the People, P.L.P., and he's just going to talk to you about what's going on.
Hi, thanks for listening. We at P.L.P., we're all volunteers here. We're a nonprofit organization. Our primary purpose is to protect your rights to prospect and mine. Also for access to national forests, BLM lands. We help other user groups such as fishermen or off-roaders. So that's our primary purpose. We're a nonprofit group, we volunteer, but when we want to protect your rights, the best way to do it, we found over the years, is to take the people who are violating your rights and get them into court. Because that's the only thing they listen to, is a court battle. So we got some great battles that we're doing for the folks right now. Our biggest one, we got the most important one, is this crazy ban on suction dredging, SB 670, that was passed through the California legislature, we feel illegally. We feel it violates the supremacy clause of the United States, being that the state can't be more restrictive than federal law. Also, mining is authorized through federal law, so we feel that the state can't prohibit because they don't authorize. So that's what this lawsuit's all about, and we got plenty of case law to back it up. We have a hearing this week, the 25th of February, where we'll be, the state of California wants to dismiss this case, claiming their 11th Amendment right. But we're arguing that that's not going to apply to this, because when California was admitted to the Union in 1850 or 51, whatever year it was, part of that admission into the Union was they'd agreed not to extend their authority onto federal lands. That was part of the deal of becoming part of the United States of America. We don't think anybody's argued that, so we're going to be arguing it this week. We might have to amend the case, but we wanted to include the state of California in this injunction, because if we get a federal injunction against the state, it covers all agencies from regulating us or prohibiting us. So that's one thing we're doing. We're also involved in the California Department of Fish and Game Public Advisory Committee. And what that is it's a committee of people who have a strong interest in dredging to help advise Fish and Game on how to promulgate new regulations. It's part of the new EIR that they're doing. There's court order. So we're involved with that. We will be there this week too. And we got great science on our side. We got two retired EPA scientists who are going to be giving a presentation on mercury. And we're going to kill a lot of these myths that the other side's been putting out about mercury and about dredging. We're also involved in other lawsuits. In California, we got the El Dorado National Forest lawsuit where they're closing roads illegally. These people will do this to us. They'll close these lands off to us, and unless we get up and fight, we're going to lose this stuff. And we need to do this not only for us now, but to protect our rights for the future generations. The mining law of the United States is really one of the last laws that give the people the ownership of our country in the form of mineral wealth. And we have great mineral wealth here. So it's really important to do this now and in future generations. We really appreciate all the clubs, all the manufacturers, all the vendors donate to us heavily, and it's what we need. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys. And so we want you guys to join P.L.P. If you're not as a club, join it as an individual. We want you to pass information off to your friends. We want to help educate the public to know what their rights are in the field. So if they're approached by someone in authority, they know how to ask questions to make sure that their rights aren't being violated. And a lot of times, if you're out in the field and you're approached by someone in authority that says you can't do something, if you pull out one of these challenge procedure cards, we tell you exactly how to ask for information. And what that will do is if they say you can't be here and do that, you can't pan here. I'm sorry, officer, I did not know that. Officer Jones, or whatever the name is, and you pull it out and you start writing it down. And you say, am I breaking the law? And he says, yeah, you're breaking the law because that's not allowed to be, you're not allowed to do that. I'm sorry, what law in particular am I breaking? At that point, they know that you're putting them on record. And if they're violating your rights, you got to get all that information.
Yes,
What day it was, what time it was, what his name was, what he looked like, the laws that he said you were breaking, and you get to P.L.P. and you give us that information, we can go and we can handle that. Make sure this guy isn't violating your rights. Another goal of P.L.P. is we put out a newsletter every month. We want to help educate you guys on these laws. You can't know them all, but if you learn some of them, you'll have an amazing amount of confidence out in the field. And it's helped me in not only in my prospecting, but many other areas of my life. Now, another thing that we've did, what I've done personally, was I sued the director of the Department of Fish and Game in small claims court to get my dredge permit fees for 2009 back. Now, I've written that up and I published that. It's on our website. It'll be published in the Mining Journal in March. And it tells step by step what I did. And it wasn't an easy process. But it shows folks that they could take and they could assert their rights. And they could take it into their own hands, get those permit fees back. They gave them back to the salmon fishermen. I presented that to the judge in court. The judge says to me, well, sir, salmon fishing is different than suction dredging. And I said, Your Honor, you're right. The salmon fishermen, their season got shut down. They got their money back right away. The dredgers didn't. The difference is that I have federally granted rights to be there on my mining claim. The fishermen don't, and I'm even more entitled to my suction dredge fees back. In the end, and you can read the whole story, you go on plp2.org, and you can read the whole story on that. In the end, basically, they were trying to not even have my case being heard. They tried to kick my case out because they knew they couldn't win. But from what I've learned over the years at P.L.P., I'm not going to let these people violate my rights. For me, it was a principle thing, much more than the money back. And one of the sweet parts about it was I had a judgment from the court for my permit fees back plus court costs. I was at the Public Access Committee meeting at Fish and Game headquarters in Sacramento, and I got to go right in the office and serve them with my judgment. And that was like icing on the cake. And they're in the process of refunding my money now, and I wrote down the name and who took my judgment. And I said, listen, here's you better take down my name and number and call me if there's a problem. I want to make sure I get my money back soon. And they said, oh, don't worry, Mr. Wagner. We know who you are. We know how to get in contact with you. They said, we were expecting this, but we weren't expecting you to come in the office and serve us personally. And I said, well, I get a lot of joy out of this, so that's why I'm here. P.L.P. over the years has fought many, many battles. We've had a good record. We're grateful that GPAA supports us so heavily. They've been major benefactors of us for a long time. A lot of clubs support us. We'll keep fighting for you guys. We couldn't do it without you. We need the funding. As long as we got the funding, we're going to keep up the fight. Don't forget, go to PLP2.org. PLP2.org. Check out the website, get educated, become a member, and let's take this country back and keep our rights intact for us and our kids. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Walt.